Hi, everybody. This is Anthony with the association, and I just want to thank everybody for coming to our webinar, our quick tip video today on how to host a video conference using Zoom. Now, for those of you who may or may not know what Zoom is, or you've heard what Zoom is a company that actually allows you as a person to host a video conference from your computer. Great for this time of year or this particular situation nowadays where people are working from home and you just can't get to the office to host a meeting or what have you, or even better yet, for real estate agents, this is also a really great tool to be able to host a virtual meeting to your clients, to be able to go over contracts, maybe writing up terms of a contract or going over existing contracts to make a decision whether to counteroffer or so on and so forth. So what we're going to do today is we're just going to go over some very basic tools in order to host a meeting. So with that said, let us go to the web. So from here, what we're going to do is we're going to go very simply to zoom.com, zoom.com. We're going to log into our account. And from here, if we've scheduled a meeting, we can go to our meeting section, and down below where our meeting is displayed, we can then create or start the meeting. Now, if you're just running an impromptu meeting, meaning that it's just last second, you want to put something together real quick, you can always come over towards the top right corner and hit host a meeting. And now you can say host it with my video camera turned on, turn off, or go immediately into screen share. Okay, so you have two ways of starting up a meeting in Zoom. Now, the host the meeting section here does not activate a scheduled meeting. Host a meeting, again, is a last minute, and I have to actually invite people to my live meeting. Down below under the schedule meeting, however, hopefully I've already notified everybody about this meeting and they are ready to go and log into this meeting. So me as the meeting facilitator or host, I need to start my meeting. So we're going to click on start a meeting. And here when we hit start a meeting, we're going to open up the Zoom meeting software that's been installed on our computer. If it hasn't been installed, the system will actually install the software. From here, we're going to join with our computer audio, basically our microphone that's embedded in our computer, or we have a attached microphone, like a headset microphone combination. Now from here, we've got several things that we can do. Now, before we actually start to share our screen, you'll notice that when I move my mouse in the Zoom window here, down below at the bottom, we have actually several choices to choose from. The first choice down at the bottom left corner is to our microphone or audio settings. Here we can mute our microphone. If you notice here that the green bar going up and down is how loud I am in my video. The next is our start a video, or in this case, the video camera that we have on our computer. If you haven't gone out to buy a separate camera for your video conference, that's okay. Hopefully your laptop has its own built-in camera in it. Now, real quickly, we can just simply click that on, and you'll notice that all of a sudden, my video camera is turned on. So people can now see me. They see what's in the background, this, that, and the other. Now, maybe you don't want people to see things going on in the background. Maybe you don't want them to see your closet door or your window or what have you. Then we've got some other cool tools here that Zoom has to offer. If we move our mouse back down towards the bottom left corner and next to the camera choice here, we have the up arrow next to the camera choice. Now, when we click on this, we actually have several things that we can do to our camera and background. The first is choosing a virtual background. So even though you may not have a green screen set up behind you, what you can do is put up a photo behind you as if you were sitting in front of a green screen. So here we can upload a couple of images, like maybe I'm out in space. So when I click on that, you notice here that it looks like I'm in outer space in orbit and we're in space in the meeting. So now all of a sudden my closet door, the window behind me is now blocked out. So no one can see what's going on in the background other than what's in front of the camera. Or maybe you've met with your graphic designer who's designed your own personal logo. Then upload your personal logo. Very simply, just come to the virtual background, and you can upload or hit the plus sign and upload an image, okay, on how your virtual background will be displayed, okay? So whatever you decide you want to do for your meeting, you could do that. Now, if you set it the first time, then what's really nice about this is that you can set it and forget it. So this will be always your background image until you decide to change it. Now, there's a couple of other things that we can also do here with our video camera that other video conferencing systems won't do, not without us changing our physical settings in our camera. So here back under the video, we've got other settings. We can enable the HD, high definition. We can also set the aspect ratio. Typically, you want to leave it at 16:19 so that even if somebody's got a big, giant 21 or 25-inch monitor sitting in front of their screen, my video takes up the full screen, okay? High definition is always nice because we want crisp, clear imaging, especially when we begin to start to share our computer desktop with the audience. But one really nice tool here is that if I'm going to be on camera, I want to touch up my video appearance or my image, okay? So as you see me right now, maybe I look a little red, maybe I've got a couple of wrinkles here and there. See, if you can't tell, I got some bags under my eyes kind of thing, right? So what we can do here under this video setting is that Zoom says, let's touch you up just a little bit. So when I click on this, we now see that my image has been vastly touched up. Some of my skin has been, or some of the areas of my skin have been smoothed out. The bags itself under my eyes have been really pushed away. So it's like somebody's touched up my video appearance of how I look. Now, some of you may really like that, especially if you're really self-conscious about being on the video camera in a meeting or even just doing an impromptu video. This is a really great tool to touch up your image. So if you are on camera, maybe talking about something, or your audience is seeing you, this is a really good tool for that. So again, once you choose it, it's a set it and forget it type of thing. Another choice here is for your meetings, how you want your meetings to always be when it comes to your video conferencing. Do you always want to display the participants' names under their videos if they decide to choose their video cameras to be turned on or off? Here, what's really nice is that one thing that you definitely want to choose is that if they don't have their video camera on, instead of seeing on your display everybody's names in blocks, hide out the names that don't have their video cameras turned on. So if you're the only one that's actually on the video camera, your screen will be the biggest screen that you will see displayed, okay? And if you have that set, then everybody else will only see the big image, okay? Now, if you have multiple people, like you're having a conference with maybe a lender or title along with your clients or the participants, then anytime they speak, if we turn on the spotlight my video when I speak, if we turn that on, then that means that the moment they speak, their video overtakes my video, and then vice versa. So just be just be mindful that you could do that too. Depending on the type of meeting that you're having, you may want to have that turned off. And typically, if it's an instructional video or an instructional conference where you're going over contracts, you definitely want to have that turned off. Okay, so that's some of your video settings. Now, next to your video settings, more towards the middle here, we have manage participants. Manage participants is a vital tool here. So when I click on this, I can now see who's logging into the video or into our conference. And when I hover over top of their name, I'm going to be given several choices, one of which will be admit them to the meeting. So it's really important that I admit people to our meeting. So what's really nice about that is that if somebody happens to come into my meeting and yet I don't recognize who they are, I don't have to admit them in, so they can't be privy to our conversation. Another choice, which is really nice, is that if you ever host a video conference where someone is remotely logging into your meeting, but they're the presenters, I can give the presenter the choice to have their screen displayed. So I can give them the choice to display their desktop instead of mine. So as a host, I can now let them display their desktop in lieu of mine, which is really nice too. Next to that is the chat. Whenever anybody comes into the meeting, I usually have everybody muted. Here, we can actually chat so they can write me questions. In some cases, in some meetings, the chat is separate from the Q&A section, depending on the meeting. But once we get participants, the chat and the QA will actually be two separate items. Q&A is directed to me, the host. Chat, we can send private written messages to one person or multiple people, or we can talk to everybody at once. So here down below at the bottom right, send it to everyone or individual participants. And then just type in what you need. And now everybody can see what I'm typing. Okay. The next button, and I'm going to skip over the screen share here because we'll get to that, the main part of that. We can also record our meeting. If we turn this on, we are now recording our video session or video conference. At the end, it compiles it into a nice video, which now I can upload it. Great for instructional videos to my agents. When it comes to client information, if you're going over contracts, you may want to ask permission first before you record your meeting. Per California state law, you have to tell them if you are recording the meeting and if they are okay with the meeting being recorded. So if you're sitting down with a potential client or a client themselves going over contracts, then always ask permission before you record your meeting. Now at this point, we are ready to screen share. So besides them looking at me, maybe now I need to go over things on my desktop. I'm now going to come over to where it says screen share and click. When I do that, I'm given several options. One, the default option that you're always going to pick about 9 times out of 10 will always be to share everything that's on your screen. Now, this is where you need to be super careful with what you're sharing, because if you're going to host a meeting like this and you're going to have participants, especially clients, be in your meeting, close out everything that's on your desktop that's not essential to the meeting itself. So if you're going to go over contracts, make sure that you as an agent are probably in your zip forms, ready to go, so that when you hit screen share and share, now anything that's displayed on your meeting automatically appears. So if this was a listing presentation for John Smith, but I'm having a video conference with Jane Doe, do I want John Smith's information to be seen? No, close it out. And then of course, open up what we have, and now everybody can see. Now real quickly here, besides when we do that, we have some menu choices at the top. Again, we have our video, we have our audio, we have the manage participants, so we can open up those chat windows if we need to, kick somebody out of a meeting, add somebody in, things like that. Here we can pause our share if we needed to, so they pause the screen. If we were recording, which is found under the more, we can begin our recording from here if we choose to. We can also hide the video panel, things like that. But more importantly, we have the annotation tools to allow us to write on our screens during the video conference, which is really nice. And one really cool thing about this is that this tool is also available to participants. So if a participant is seeing your screen, they will actually have this bar as well. And they can actually write things on my screen during our meeting. So if I'm going over contracts with a client, I can have them actually make an annotation so I can see it. and then I can talk a little bit about it and say, okay, I see where your questions are, or you're pointing out something here with an arrow. Oh, let's see here if we have an arrow. There we go. Stamp it with an arrow, just like so, and point out those areas on the contract. Now, this does not actually apply it to the contract, or if they write on my screen, that doesn't get written on the screen or on the contract itself, but we're just writing on the screen. So I think these are really great tools here. Now, once is all said and done, then we can hit stop our share and then come down below to the bottom right corner and click end the meeting. Once we hit end the meeting, we hit end the meeting for all. And now Zoom will begin to do its thing in recording its video if we happen to do it. Other than that, that's the simple part, or how simple it is to host a meeting or host a conference, video conference on Zoom. If there are any questions, please feel free to contact me at 949-586-6800. My extension is 104, or feel free to email me at Tony, Tony, at ocrealtors.org. Have a great day.